Hello, everyone. Welcome to Moon Cycle Spirituality. I'm Kathleen Joan. I am a spiritual director, a Reiki healer, and a facilitator of women's circles. And I am excited to welcome you to this series on the spirituality of the moon and her cycles. Um, and I will say this series is open to people of all genders and all spiritual paths. To share a little bit about myself, I'm a former Catholic school religion teacher who found the goddess. And today I primarily work with those from Christian backgrounds who are exploring God as she or the divine feminine. However, that doesn't have to be you for you to take this series. One of my areas of spiritual focus is the moon and her cycles and the spirituality of that. So I wanted to offer this series again for people of all genders and all spiritual paths who would like to focus on moon cycle spirituality. So, why the moon? Well, the moon is an incredibly powerful cosmic guide, I think. And we can connect to the moon as a way of relating to the seasons and the cycles of our lives in every sense. All people on Earth see the moon. We all experience the moon, right? The moon has been associated with the sacred feminine, and we will talk a little bit in this series about why that is. And as I've said, I think the moon can be a powerful spiritual guide for people of all genders. And just to think about the way the moon pulls on the waters of the earth, right, creates the tides. The moon is constantly pulling on Earth to create really, really powerful flow in all the waters on the planet. And if we remember that our bodies are about 60% water, we can just start to imagine how the moon is also constantly pulling on us physically, right? As well as you could say energetically or emotionally in different ways. Some people find that they connect to the moon that way. So, the moon can also serve as a calendar, a type of cosmic calendar for us. From our perspective, the moon moves through a very predictable cycle from dark to light and back again over and over and over every 28 days. So the moon is constantly in flow, constantly changing, but there's a structure to it. Changes and flows the exact same way in cycles over and over again. So that's a powerful container for us as beings on Earth, and it can serve as a powerful container and a way to structure sort of how do we understand the seasons of our lives and our spirituality. So, in this program, we're going to explore this as a guide for balancing. The moon cycles can help us to notice and encourage us to create balance, not by being always the same, right? Because our energy is not the same every day. The moon is not the same every day. She's constantly changing. But we create a sort of balance by moving and cycling and flowing through those different energies, through those different seasons of light and dark and all of the different energies of our lives. So, what are we going to do in this program? We're going to have three gatherings total in this series. In the first, we are going to dive into exploring the moon cycle, more of what I just kind of talked about a bit, and how it can serve us as this cosmic guide, that spiritual calendar, balancing our lives and our energies, and just getting to know the moon's rhythms and cycles. In our second and third gatherings, we will open up sacred space with a ritual new moon circle and a ritual full moon circle, respectively. And I want to give credit here. For these circles, I use the circle format of the Wild Woman Project, if you're familiar with that group. But again, this series is open to people of all spiritual paths, all genders. At the new moon, when the moon's light is dark, you'll be invited to connect with your inner guidance. It's a time when we go within, we set an intention for the month, and we are able to ritualize that and have our intention witnessed in the sacred circle. And at the full moon, you'll be invited to witness how that intention has grown and blossomed with the growing light of the moon. And we'll have a ceremony for releasing at the full moon any energies that we are ready to let go of as the moon's light begins to wane. So each of those ritual circles will also include a short teaching about the astrology of the moon, wherever we are at that point. So we'll be gathering for our new moon circle at the new moon in Aries in late March and the full moon circle around the full moon in Libra in early April. So my hope is that you come away from this series inspired to connect with the moon more consciously, to lean on the moon as your guide for the changing energies, the changing seasons of light and dark in our lives, and to be nourished by your own inner guidance as you practice moving through these different phases in conscious connection, consciously collaborating with the moon as this cosmic guide who is always available to us. So that's a bit of what you can expect in this series. Thank you for listening, and I'm really excited to see you there. Blessings.